Hey guys, welcome back to the CNSL Season 7 on ArtosisCasts. Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to be going through the round of 32 Group F. This is a group comprised of 2 Zerg players, a Protoss, and a Terran. Let's quickly go over some of these players. Of course, first off, we have HyuN, kind of a legend in StarCraft 2, but still a very strong Zerg in StarCraft 1. He's been playing very, very well recently, and is probably my pick, my top pick to get out of this group. Second up, we have Kid. He is a Chinese Zerg player, very well known in China, one of their top Zergs for quite some time, and a little bit of a dark horse here. Then we have Tyson. Tyson, in good shape, is one of those guys that's just very close to being in ASL, but generally doesn't make it. I think he was in like 1, maybe 2 seasons so far. And might be the second favorite in the group, in my opinion. And then, of course, we have Cop. Okay, so Cop, as far as the strong amateur Terrans that haven't been in ASL so far, for the ones that are pretty well known and get into a lot of tournaments like these, I think he's actually the weakest amongst all of them, right? Like, I'm always naming all these guys where I'm like, oh yeah, like Ride Sky and Scan and, you know, Tengu and, you know, all these really great Terran players that are super close to ASL. I feel not like that about Cop. So no insult to him. He's obviously a very strong player, but I do think that he is a pretty big underdog in this group as well. So I'm going with HyuN Tyson. We'll see, because this game is going to be starting. We're jumping into a Zerg versus Zerg between Kid and HyuN. Let's get into it. And here we are in the bottom right of Radion. We have none other than Kid. And in the top left, we have HyuN. All right. So yeah, I think HyuN is obviously favored, but it's Zerg versus Zerg, and the Chinese Zergs definitely are not bad at this matchup. We've seen some big upsets from them in the past. But yeah, I do think that HyuN should be able to take it. If Kid takes it, it might screw up the whole group, right? Because it's best of one. By the way, Overlords have a coffee bean butt. You know, it's best of one, so crazy things can happen here. Crazy upsets can occur, especially in something as volatile as a Zerg versus Zerg. But they are cross spawn, so not too easy to get like a quick build order win, like a 9 pool versus hatch first type of play. And it is, in fact, going to be a 9 pool here from Kid. All right, there it is. Let's see with HyuN. He has an Overlord coming up. Is it going to be overpool? Is it going to be 12 pool? Is it going to be hatch first? Obviously here for HyuN, the best case scenario would be for him to make 2 drones here and then a spawning pool. That would be basically as hard a counter as you can get. Yep. And he does that against a 9 pool. So basically, you know, there is a little bit of rock, paper, scissors, as there are in all matchups, right? There's always builds that like do better against other builds. In Zerg vs. Zerg, it's generally a little more pronounced than the other matchups, but maybe not as much as like PvP on a flat map that we talk about sometimes. But anyways, in Zerg vs. Zerg, it's basically like pool first beats hatch first beats Overlord into the later spawning pool, like a 12 pool, 11, 12 pool. And then that 11 or 12 pool beats the 9 pool, the quick early pool, right? So basically it just has to do with the timing of your Zerglings. If you get your Zerglings a little bit later, you have more drones. So take a look, right? So right now, you know, Kid, he's getting his gas, he's mining, and then you look up here and it's like, okay, not only do we also have the spawning pool done before your Zerglings are even really leaving your base, but there's an additional hatchery. So you can see that type of advantage that we have here. You're just not that far ahead as Kid. Now, that's not to say that you cannot win with this. You absolutely can. It's just the advantage goes here to HyuN. Now, he's sending the Lings into the wrong direction. He's going to know that just momentarily here. Oh, no, he's just missing that Overlord. So he's going to run all the way down. If you see that coming in, obviously, you know where your opponent is. Going to pop up that ramp, and yeah, unfortunate. He doesn't even see any Lings up there, so he knows he's in the wrong spot. He knows he's going to be top left. He does have the layer on the way. Zergling speed is coming up for HyuN. And again, don't forget, he's up 1 drone. And he's going to have that secondary hatchery. So we could see a Massling flood. I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. The layer is on the way as well. You know, the massling flood is very, very common when one player has a pool and one player has an extra hatch and one player does not. But we've seen more recently of people just kind of macroing up instead. And we'll see which one it's going to be chosen here by HyuN. Now, HyuN brings drones with his lings. This is a lot of lings from Kid. Kid is pretty aggressive here. But it doesn't matter if you damage the hatch. What matters is if you kill the hatch. And in fact, he might end up getting it. HyuN might actually be too slow. Oh, man. I think that could be the case. We're super close to it going down. And in fact, it will go down. Okay, now... he killed the hatch. That doesn't mean that he wins the game immediately. Obviously, that looks like a great advantage, but you lost a lot of lings as Kid targeting it down. Plus, there were some extra larvae. So without any question, there's a lot more Zerglings out right now for HyuN. In fact, you can see he even did he canceled his layer. He's going like pretty heavily all in from here. If Kid can get... oh my god, it looks like I missed maybe a couple lings run by. If he can get this sunken up, then he's going to be feeling very, very happy. You can see his drones trying to fight. 6 drones remain right now for Kid. Sunken gets up. Hold on. Is Kid going to be able to do this? Guys, this is a pretty big deal right now. The fact that he's held the ramp and HyuN does not have any advantage. He's gone ahead and thrown this hatchery down. Excuse me. But he's like down in lings, so he has to make lings now. He has been making drones for the most part over here. Okay, the Spire is coming up. Yeah, I like this for Kid. Like, even though he's way down in drones, he's going to get over here and be able to pressure this hatchery and force a cancel. And then it's like, okay, are you going to go one hatch... you know, spores? That's not something that works. You can't go one hatchery spore crawler or spore colony. It's just, it doesn't really make sense for him. So right now, drone's coming out with these lings. And he's trying to fight it once again. But I tell you, Kid is doing a good job with his super, super aggressive play. Like, all he really needs to do is make one Mutalisk with that Spire, and I think that might be game-ending. Now, he's going after this hatch so hard. Even if he loses these lings, don't forget that he has a sunken colony at home for defense. So this is still looking extremely good. Comes over to the side, actually gets a good engage there. We'll keep the health of these blue lings so you can see, right? He's still got enough health to really fight, and in fact, surrounds all those lings, kills the drones, and now the drone count is very even. He's going to be killing off this hatchery. And HyuN doesn't have anything going on. Nothing at all. My god, Kid. With a bit of an upset here. There is 0% for HyuN to win at this point. You know, you literally just need one Mutalisk to fly across the map. There's no anti-air. He doesn't even need that, it looks like. He might kill every single drone with these lings. Oh my god, even kills the lings that popped out at the natural. So really, really, really well done. And GG, Kid, with the upset in the first round, goes the winner's match. All right, so we're going into our second match now to see who's going to be going up to play Kid in that winner's match. Kind of a big deal there with our Chinese Zerg going, you know, to that winner's match. A little bit unexpected. Going to be a tough losers match with HyuN down there for sure. Taking a look at our players, we have Cop in the top right, and in the bottom left, we have Tyson. So Tyson, definitely a more established, well, is a pro gamer, right? Like Tyson is a pro, whereas Cop is one of these high-ranking amateur Terrans. You know, there's a lot of them right now. There's a lot of very hardworking Terrans that are trying to become pro, right? Like I would basically say once you hit ASL, you're pro, and just so people realize, this is a tournament for people who did not qualify for ASL Season 17, who attempted but were not able to make it in, like top players like that, right? So it's not a like non-pro tournament. This is a pro tournament with some high-ranking amateurs in it that haven't been in ASL yet, and this is one of those players. But like I said before, I do think that Cop amongst those players, and the thing is, those players are really strong, right? They're players like Ride Sky, like, you know, players like well, Tengu made it into ASL, so that's great. You know, Scan did not this season, but he has been in ASL before, right? Prime, right? There's so many of them. like just a ton of these top end Terrans, and I cast them from time to time on the channel. But anyways, I'm just saying, I do think he's a little bit weaker than most of the others. Not to say it negatively about him, but some of those guys are like super beast mode, and Cop, I think, is just like kind of a regular guy. We'll see how he does. We'll see how he does. A cross spawn scout here by Tyson. And he is going up. He's going to find him first, so that's kind of nice, kind of lucky from Tyson. And we'll see if Tyson goes for fast expansion or what off of this after finding him like across the map. You can't really put too much pressure on. One thing I'll just mention while we while we're talking, you see this 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D. This is him showing that he likes to make Dragoons, right? So those would be gateway hotkeys. And then the D button. So that's most likely what he has set to Dragoon. That's the natural input. And I think a lot of those hotkeys never got changed by the Korean pros because they got so used to them, because only in Remastered could you rebind unit production keys, right? So kind of funny. That it just kind of like points towards that he's a Dragoon guy. We'll see how many Dragoons he makes in this game. And then you see Ux is very popular, like one of these university teams, I believe. And you can see he put the chamchi. That means like tuna fish. And basically the name, like his name is Dongwon, and that's a very famous tuna fish company. So that's why he's put his ID like that. Anyways, Zealot coming up across the map, and 3 Marines, 4th on the way, no problem. Okay, so this I really like. Okay, and again, I don't want to be negative when I say I don't think he's as strong as like Ride Sky or something, because you got in Bishop and Scan and all these guys, right? But yeah, Cop putting down a 3rd depot immediately. I like it. You know, the probe got to his base so quickly. This is something that you can do, right? Because he did not see the Zealot necessarily. In fact, I know that he didn't see the Zealot, or he would have turned this SCV. You know, as he went through the center, basically, because he was doing an end scout. But I want to just mention about this, right? Like, if the probe gets to you quickly, then that means that a Zealot's coming almost every time, because that's why you would scout quickly, is to figure out where they are so your Zealot has somewhere to go. So yeah, to instantly add the 3rd depot and make the 4th Marine is, I think, by far the best way to play. I cannot tell you how many games I've seen from top ASL professional Terrans where they try to go 2 depot, and they make the additional Marine, and then like they have to make the Vulture, and then, you know, they have to get a bunker up because there's like a Zealot and a Dragoon there, and then they're supply blocked for 100 years, right? It's just, this I think is actually just completely superior. So really good play there. There is a Vulture out on the map. Dragoon coming across. He did cancel that bunker because he had enough units, no problem. We have right now the Robo on the way. The Dragoon pokes up and sees 4 Marines. It doesn't have range. It has no chance, so it is going to turn around and run. And of course, with mines coming up, he's going to be able to lay those down. Now, I actually hadn't noticed this. A quick starport play. The quick starport play is actually excellent here. Anytime your opponent skips range to get their expansion up quicker or their tech up quicker, they can't pressure you, right? Only range, or I mean, obviously early on if you have a Zealot, something like that, that can pressure you as well. But the fact that he didn't get that quick range means that you can do something like no bunker, lay mines down everywhere because the Dragoons are not in your face, and go ahead with a very quick dropship. So loving to see this. And he will be able to get that dropship into the base before an observer can figure out what he's doing. And in fact, he hasn't even shown the other Vultures, right? Like, he's laying mines with 1. It doesn't really tell you what the build is. Almost every opening factory expansion does lay mines. So, you know, it's hard to read exactly what this is. Is this like 1-fact armory? Is it 1-fact into 2 factories? Is there a pressure build coming? Is it a dropship build? It could be any number of things. So yeah, really, really liking how Cop is playing this right now. Not that Tyson's doing anything incorrect or anything, right? Like, look at this. He has the forward pylon. This is his nod towards the fact it could be a 2-factory pressure. Just put that up there. He's got the Dragoons in an arc behind, kind of checking out every angle that things could come in from. He's got these to catch units that run by, like Vultures. Yeah, very good setup overall. Now, here comes the drop. This is the important part of the game. Let's see what he gets done. Drops 2 vultures here. Okay, okay. So going to be able to kill probes really quickly. And, you know, this is already looking very, very good for him. A little bit of miss micro on these 2 vultures. Also, he left no mines, which is okay. You can lay all your mines before you go. Looking at this, suddenly we have a 3-worker advantage for our Terran player, and the dropship got out. So that was absolutely successful. If you are up in workers against Protoss, and look at this, 5 right now. If you're up in workers against Protoss in this matchup, you feel like $1 million. Now you're going to see him add on the extra factories. He is getting siege mode, of course. The armory is already up, making a bunker for those 4 Marines. So all that matters is holding on against this little counterattack, and he should be able to. With a bunker and pulling the siege tanks back and just repairing, you should be able to just hold on. So he needs to pop that in, he needs to pull SCVs down, and he needs to keep these tanks alive. Like, just, it's fine to even pull them up onto the ramp a little bit more so they can't be targeted. Because you're going to have siege mode pretty quick, and that's all you need. All right, excellent. Excellent stuff for Cop here. Observer just kind of scouting around a little bit. Cop did go up to 3 factories. Another drop in that main base, actually catching the drop. Feeling pretty proud of myself. And not sure exactly how much damage he's going to end up getting. It looks like he's getting trapped in here. We cannot even see it at this point because it's behind the mini-map. And we'll catch that dropship. So the dropship's done. You know, the counterattack came, so he wanted to try another drop, so you really can't blame him for that. I think it's fine. Obviously, it sucks that he lost a dropship. It'll probably be a while before he builds another, or maybe he just won't for the rest of the game. A lot of Terran players just build 1 and that's it, but we'll see. Kind of a stylistic choice there. A couple speed vultures going back out onto the map. 3rd Nexus is up here for Tyson. Oh, and he does make another dropship really, really quickly. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Now, I really like the combination of 5 factories plus a dropship. And, you know, you normally only see it with a drop opening. Because with a drop opening, you're going to go into 5 factories anyways. But kind of cool to see it. And the fact that he had to make a second one makes it, you know, it makes it a more deliberate choice. Because 5 factories is so common right now. But sometimes you can do something like a little drop. It draws some units back and you move out with your army. So that might be what Cop is looking at here. I think that that would be very, very cool. And it's only 3 gates right now. Now, 3 more gates are on the way. Has that Templar Archives going into that Templar Archives, rather. Not that much stuff here right now for Tyson. There's some real potential. And look, he's even put a siege tank in here, so it's more serious to deal with. You're going to have to send like a few more units because of the siege tank. I think that that's a very good choice as well. We'll see what Cop is able to get done with that dropship. We'll keep an eye on that. Command center going up, so kind of a safety play. His academy is here, so he's going to get the scans. But I don't know that we're actually going to see an attack. It looks to me like he's going to do drop harassment and just expand to his 3rd base, which is not necessarily bad. In fact, I think based right now, and this is completely current, what you're watching. I'm basically casting these as soon as I get them. But yeah, like this, it makes some sense because everyone's like kind of hard countering 5-fact pushes right now. So to go 5-fact to make them counter that, but then to also just expand, I think is a very good metagame play. Now he sieges up. Can he get a good blast? Doesn't get the target. Targeting there would have gotten him 3-4 probes easy. A little unfortunate there, but still getting a little bit of damage done. You can see a bigger chunk of army having to come down to clear this. Dragoons coming out to try to catch it as well. And they will be able to catch this off. Dropship goes down. The siege tank not going to be able to get any damage here. And the vulture, who knows? Maybe it gets away. Yeah, it looks like it might. Kind of funny. Oh, might find these high timers. Imagine if he had saved that mine. Damn, that would have been sick. But yeah, gets in and actually will get a bit of damage for that. That's pretty nice. Now, the command center is done. It's floating down. He's got a good amount of units. Science facility is up. 2 more. Okay, we need to see him add 2 or 3 factories here. If he does that right now, God tier play so far. I got to start maybe, you know, I haven't played or casted Cop in probably a year. So, you know, my because he just, I don't know, he doesn't make it into too many things like I mentioned, but maybe he's really improved himself. Like right now, this looks fantastic, but he has to add 2 more factories or 3 more factories. It's kind of up to him what he wants to aim towards, whether he wants to take a quick 4th or he's thinking more like a counter push or maybe a timing attack, that type of thing. He brings some SCVs into position. So I think we will see that. But yeah, everything looking really good. He's adding missile turrets as well. I think before you really get a bunch of missile turrets up, you should be thinking about those additional factories, though. You can see he's like a little bit low on money. Adds to... Dude, this is beautiful play. Really, truly, this is... It's very... it's mostly standard, not 100% standard, right? He opened with the dropship. You don't see that every game. He made the second dropship to drop while he was taking his third. Okay, that seems pretty reasonable, right? Like, that seems pretty good. He didn't get a ton of damage, but I think it was still strong. And he's macroing up super cleanly. And look at this, the third add-on as well. This is, guys, literally, like, this is how you play TVP right now. This is exactly it. Like, he's nailing it. So very, very good play here from Cop. Wow. I'm actually getting a little bit of chills right now. This is exciting me. I love to see players rise up because it takes years. Okay, there is no esport that takes the amount of time to become a pro as StarCraft 1. It is by far the longest. It's not even close. You know, I challenge you. Leave in the comments if you think that I'm wrong here, and I will literally explain why you're absolutely stupid and you don't know anything. It takes literally years and years and years and years to become a pro in StarCraft 1. But I love seeing players rise up because of that, because you have to not give up. You have to keep going, and Cop is playing a beautiful game here. Now, Tyson running forward. He's going through a lot of mines. The setup here is magnificent. There is no way you're breaking this. This will not be broken. The spread of siege tanks is so strong right now. And you see the Zealots are almost gone. Throws the defense matrix down on the correct tank and everything. Some very good size storms. Well, actually, his spread was so good, those only hit 1 tank each. Maybe hit 2 right there for a moment. And he is going to kill like a few more units, but this is actually okay. This is completely fine for our Terran player. His spread, like really, that was perfectly spread. It's like if you pause this and you showed me this game, you'd be like, okay, who's playing this? And I couldn't see like the APM. Well, no, actually, his APM's doing all right. I would actually say that this is light, the way that this is being played. It's being played so well. The spread of tanks was perfect. If you have your tanks clumped up there, Tyson might kill you. But now look at this position, okay? We have a 7-factory, soon-to-be 8-factory Terran that has 2-1 upgrades, plenty of base defense, right? 3 add-ons making tanks, just absorbed a 3-base attack. Now, I know that there's a 4th, but he just sent the probes here, okay? So that was... Like, you're not remaxing quickly as Tyson right now. Now, Tyson is trying to take some more bases up here, but this might have been better for him to take this base without the attack, because then you'd actually have an army to defend it. Now, look at this. Cop immediately moves to the center, building missile turrets. These are spots, by the way, these little triangle tiles are where you can build turrets, and then also this center area that you can build things in, right? So you have a range of areas if you want missile turrets that you can look at. One thing to mention is that this map is super wide open. I'm gonna scroll all the way out. See, so you see it's very wide. We only have 4 little doodads in the center of the map that block movement, and you can try to utilize those, but it is wide open. So as you get to higher and higher supplies, it gets a little bit tough to hold on against giant attacks. Okay, anyways, taking a look back at Tyson's base, what does he have going on? A lot of gateways. He does have 1 forge running. Is it just 1 forge? Yeah, it does look that way. But plenty of gates, so he is macroing very quickly. Worker count is just about even here, both about mid-60s, which is where you want it. Yeah, range almost done for those guys. They're going to say that's kind of wild how late that is. But this is some really, truly beautiful play from our Terran player. And Tyson, you know, like, he's eventually going to come back and attack. See some probes kind of brought to the side. He couldn't send those in a direct transfer. He has to kind of route them elsewhere. Now, attacking in, and he transfers them as this attack comes in. Great defense matrix to start. This is going to be a hold once again in this position. He'll get back to about here before he has to turn around Tyson. Tyson does have to turn around as these Zealots go, because if he keeps going, he's going to lose everything. And he keeps going. So he's just going to have these Dragoons splatter. Like, Dragoons can't really fight siege tanks. I'm very surprised he stayed. He lost about 10 Dragoons more than he should have here. So it was a little bit sloppy there from Tyson, no doubt. But a great hold there once again from Cop. Now, this base is up and mining. It is a 5-base Protoss right now. Cop actually moves forward. This, I disagree with. I think this is the first big mistake of the game. This forward position is going to be really hard. I think he should stay turtled in this general area to try to make it a smaller area you're attacking into. He's getting into a more wide open area. You have all this surface area to attack in. You can kind of do a bit of a surround, like 270 degrees or something here pretty easily. He's taking the center. Maybe if he puts some buildings here, that would make more sense. Now, 4th base is being taken. This is critical. The fact that he has taken a 4th base, he has to keep that up. Tyson moving into the top left now as well. So he's going to go up to 6 bases against 4. But that's, like, at this point in the game, it's, like, pretty even. 6 base against 4, you're like, okay, this is a real game. It's when Protoss gets this bottom right area that you're going to have to start really worrying. Now, Tyson is trying to keep Cop off of this side of the map. Pushes forward a little bit. Picks off a few units there. A lot of Dragoons in this army. Can't blame him for that for sure. But don't forget, there are 3 add-ons. We pointed that out earlier. So the siege tank count is going to be great no matter what. You can get more than 3 add-ons in TVP, but it's very, very rare. You know, he could get 4 gases, but, like, it's actually hard to spend your gas after 3 gases in this matchup. Now, Tyson is basically just maxing out and getting ready, I think, for another hit. This is beautiful. Look at this stream of mines there. He's got extra missile turrets, continuing to make those turrets as well. Few zealots running in, trying to clear some of these mines. Wouldn't mind the vultures coming forward a little bit, but they wait back. And in fact, good mine hit there. Flies in to try to get some Psy Storms. The vultures staying out of the Psy Storms. Great defense matrix once again. He's been so on top of these defense matrices. I tell you what, I'm taking it back. I think Cop is great. This is some fantastic play from him. Now, that is a lot of Dragoons. And don't forget, once again, he was pretty far out here. Okay, the Dragoon's going to come up, and he's going to basically lose his Dragoons. Like, he has 2 units left at the end. But like I said, this central area is a bit harder to defend. I do feel like, again, if he had kept this area, the attacks in are cut off. Here, right? Or are you going to attack up and then down like that? Not really, because you have some mines up here, maybe a tank there, right? It just, you have less surface area to attack. Here we saw attacks from both sides, and it was just much larger surface area for our Protoss player. So just something to keep in mind. Like, the fact that Cop is trying to hold the central area, it's not that he can't win doing that. It's just that he is giving these opportunities for slightly better attacks to his opponent. By the way, +3 done for Tyson, so strong upgrades. 3-2 here for Cop, so good upgrades as well. Setting up a pile on the bottom right, we're going to have to keep an eye on that, because that's one of the most important things, is will he get that other main base? Another fantastic defense matrix. We don't have that many tanks here this time. Zealots running in. Okay, gets a big mine hit there and actually kills some vultures as well. Bringing more tanks down. Cop pulls back. Now, I think that one push out to the center, and then we just saw another slight bust. I feel like the game is starting to maybe tilt just slightly towards Tyson, right? Cop's not out of it for sure. Like, I'm not calling this game over by any means, but like, you need to build up to your army that kind of outscales Protoss. And I feel like he's given up a bunch of armies. And the thing is, he's trading pretty efficiently, but you can see it's just continued bases. It's like 6 bases for Protoss. So it's like, okay, well, again, you can play that, but you can't just continually trade against that. Now he's coming up, resetting up. This is a little bit better, I think. Has some units up here, a little bit harder area to get into. See the Zealots kind of trying to track around here. Once again, running up a good defense matrix also. Can't believe how many defense matrices he's actually cast at this point. But yeah, you can see Tyson kind of breaking through. You're not getting that critical mass that we need to see from Terran. Yeah, it's Tyson is starting to get some actual damage here, right? It's not just killing army with army, but getting into this expansion, that's a little bit scary. If we jump around the map real quick, look, basically empty, 100% empty. This is still completely fine. But you need 2 mining bases. If you have 3-2 upgrades, as long as you have 2 mining bases, you're still pretty good. You're still in pretty good shape. You know, it's like you need 2 mining bases to be able to actually like make a big army. So right now we have Tyson kind of targeting down this command center. It doesn't look like he's going to get a kill on it. More zealots coming up, but the minefield has been relayed. And yeah, one Dragoon left. He will be able to clean that up, but a little bit slow here. You can see that income is getting very, very low. Supply differential really going towards Tyson right now. It's wild. I gotta say, because I think that we absolutely had a winning, like a pretty big advantage. Like, he was winning, not that he was about to win the game or anything, but, you know, Cop was winning. You know, when he took this position and was taking a 4th. I really think it just comes down to him pushing into here. If he had stayed in the more defensive position, either we would have had a terribly cost-inefficient attack from Tyson, or we would have had Cop max out and have fantastic upgrades and then decide what to do. Does he push over here and kill bases? Probably. Does he push down here and take more bases? Probably not, but it would have been an option at least. Right now, there's no option. His only option is to continually reset up the center to try to hold his 4th. And then it's like, okay, but now we have the corner being taken, and you don't really have recourse there. Right? He can't really attack there. Maybe if he has dropships still. I believe he lost all his dropships and didn't remake any. But like a dropship could maybe do some harass down there. Maybe kill the Nexus if you catch him off guard. But yeah, right now, Tyson certainly has taken some control in this game. Still a lot of gateways. Didn't really make any up here, which is kind of surprising. Made one down here, one down here. You know, he's making some High Templars. It looks like maybe he's been rallying out of this gate for a while. Should bring these units to the center to fight. That's actually a considerable amount of his supply that's sitting randomly in the top left. I think he... Okay, yeah, now he realized. So he's going to bring that down. Getting ready. He's trying to get some good surface area. Okay, starts to attack in. And, okay, this is... Like, Cop is going to just barely hold this, I think. Or maybe just barely not hold it with these additional units coming up. Right? As you get... basically, the way to look at it is how long are the Zealots going to survive in the battle? Because the Dragoons don't survive much longer if there's a decent amount of siege tanks. But he actually clears most of the tanks. You can see Cop just barely trying to hold on here. Gets him pushed back once again. Ooh, a great situation to snipe these High Templars. That would be really, really strong. I guess the one Zealot up here draws him away from those High Templars. So lucky there for our Protoss player. A 5th base is going to be taken. It's kind of a sneak base. You don't really have anything defending it right now. Luckily for him, there's no vision seeing this. The Observer is the only thing with real vision here, and you can't transfer through here because there's depots in the way. So kind of lucky there from Cop, or well planned, whichever one it may be. More and more units just rallying out here from Tyson, maintaining a large supply advantage at the moment. A pretty long game that we're getting into, but the writing is on the wall at this point. Like, Cop just hasn't been able to get the army that he needs. And, you know, I think that he played just this beautiful, awesome game up to a point, and then just... It's you know, Terran versus Protoss it's a bit unforgiving, right? Like, you're doing everything right. You take one faulty position, Protoss kills your army, and then just trades really aggressively with that big economy. What you need to do is make it so that it's literally suicide to attack into you, right? Or and then sometimes you find something like a counter timing, or you just expand again. That's generally the two things that you're looking for, right? It's like, okay, are we taking more expands, or are we counterattacking? Or is it literally a complete all-in from Protoss and all we have to do is sit there, right? And in this case, it was one where he could have decided, like, okay, expand or counterattack. But he did not stay efficient enough, so he had to just sit there and defend. But if you're doing that against something that's not all-in, that's where the problem lies, right? Tyson's playing a normal game. He's making normal moves. He's not all-in. So when you have to just sit there and that's the choice that's made for you, and they're not all inning, that's where the problem really is. So this is it's pretty much game over. You know, there's a few more tanks coming out. Maybe I think you can right-click the command center at this point. Even if you lose all your Dragoons, you're probably still going to take it as Tyson. So, yeah. Comes down, targeting these tanks. Looks like he will be able to kill both of them off. I think we're going to see a GG from Cop. He just, yeah, even a Zealot chasing that away. Unfortunate, but well played. Tyson with the comeback will go on to that winner match. Okay, so going into the winner's match, we have Tyson here in the top right of Blitz Y. In the bottom right, we have Kid, our Chinese Zerg player. Kind of exciting to see him here. I would love to see him go on to the next round. I think it just makes it really interesting when you get some of these non-Korean players doing really, really well. Would be awesome to see, but we got to wait and see how this game plays out. I do want to mention, because we're on Blitz Y, in my opinion, this is probably the most Protoss map in years, especially in this matchup. I've mentioned it many, many times, and I will as they scout the map a bit more, but basically the third base for Protoss, which is about there, is extremely easy to defend. It's the easiest third gas that we've seen that I can remember on anything that looked even remotely normal. So yeah, as you see, right, like if you you make your Nexus here, you can block this choke, and then you have a ramp, and it's like your opponent can't really counterattack. The way around to attack into here is so long, and then you have units and cannons here, and you have units here that flow down, so you just insta-flank. So basically, holding this position well gives you 3 bases completely cleanly, right? And that's just something you don't see very often in this matchup. So yeah, that's oftentimes the hardest part about PvZ, right, is getting that third base up in a timely manner, but it isn't as hard here. It isn't as hard here. So we'll see how that goes down. Looks like we have like a quick pull here actually from Kid. I wasn't looking at the exact number of that, but is going for that quick pull. So we'll have to see a Forge thrown down immediately here for Tyson. Wait, is he going to go Nexus first? It looks like it. Yeah, I was going to say, excuse me, that did not look right. If he went Nexus first, I think he just dies to Zerglings. Because he was sitting there, right? And he was at like 388 minerals, so I'm like, huh. But it doesn't matter if your Forge is like a little bit late. Like, I don't know the exact to the second timings for this, because I'm not a Protoss or a Zerg player, but like, you know, you don't have to get Forge optimized really quickly. Gateway you do, because you have Zealot build time, but as soon as the Forge is done, you warp in the cannon. So basically the Forge has to be done so you can warp in cannons in time to warp in before the Zerglings get there. You don't need the Forge any earlier than that. So yeah, it looks like just 4 Zerglings made. He can't really do anything with that, right? This cannon's going to be up in time, no problem. He's checking that, and he does see that. Looking at the bottom left, Kid has taken his hatchery here, as opposed to anywhere else for his third base. So this like points towards probably no Hydra all-in, since the rally distance from here is so far. Look at this. You got to like walk like this. Or no, it's even further up. Sorry, this is some shakiness. I'm not good at holding the box in the minimap. Anyways, just the placement of that makes me feel like he's just likely to go layer, basically. There are a few more lings on the way. Is this going to get super aggro? Why is he making all those lings? It has to be for an attack. There's just nothing else. He's gonna go for like an all-in attack. Yeah, he's even making lings out of here. Okay, so it's just gonna be a ling all-in from Kid. So this is a hole for Zerglings. This is a hole for Zerglings. Needs to tighten those up, obviously. He went Cybernetics Core before Zealot, and the Zealot is coming. If he just runs in and kills the cannon, the game might end. Is he going to get there before the Zealot's out? Yeah, he is. Probes better be pulled, man. You better get your probes down there, bro. Oh, he actually turns to kill that probe. Okay, so that actually bought enough time for the probes to get down. If he had just made a beeline, he actually might have made it in. And again, if you kill this cannon, the game is probably over. More lings are coming, but he actually switched back into drones now. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at from Kid. It felt like it was an all-in. He's made so many drones. Look, he's at 10 workers. He's not getting Zergling speed. He's just going layer. I don't understand this build at all. This looks like a really bad build, but sometimes the Chinese players have these builds that look terrible, and then they win with them, and you're just like, huh? Like super unoptimized looking builds. Like you would not see a Korean pro generally do something like this. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. It looks wonky as hell, and Tyson's getting a second cannon. This is looking pretty good for Tyson, in my opinion. Citadel coming up, Stargate coming up. The layer is on the way, but obviously it's a bit late compared to what it could have been. And the drone count is not where it could have been as well. So this group of 12 Lings just going to sit outside and watch for anything to come out. An additional cannon goes down, so Tyson's playing very carefully right now. Corsair on the way. He's actually skimping a lot of Zealots, which I find interesting. A lot of players won't do that. This has to be a DT opener, right? Maybe I'm wrong. He hasn't started +1, though, so you would start +1 if you're going to go quick legs. We'll see if he throws down that Templar Archives in a moment. He starts the second Corsair, and he'll be able to... Yeah, he just has to wait for a little bit more resources, and he should be able to throw that down. So it looks like it's probably DT Corsair. Obviously, you can get quick storm and things, too, but Corsair DT has been a little bit popular lately. And I'm actually not entirely sure why. I'm not entirely sure why that meta shifts in this matchup. Where you want to go Corsair DT more often. But I've absolutely noticed that we're seeing it a bit more often than we did a few months ago. You know, it could be something as simple as because people don't do it for a little bit, Zergs get lazy maybe about... or they optimize in a different way where their overlords go, that type of thing, right? Anyways, Templar Archives, he does see this coming in with his overlord. Kid up to 27 drones, so not too bad as far as that drone count goes. Is Spire going to finish up? And yeah, the first DT is on the way. Has 3 Zealots on the wall, so completely invincible against these Zerglings. +1 has now just been started. +1 air attack actually started beforehand. And the Corsair is just going to sit at home. This one flying around for a little bit of a scout. There is Carapace on the way for Kid, so it looks like he maybe wants to go into Mutalisks. Sometimes we see people go Hydra with this and then go for the Mutas later. I would not suspect that that's what this is, since we already see that second gas and, in fact, a third gas going up. So I think we're just going to see, like, Ogre Zerg Gamer, right? We're going to see, like, 1 million Scourge and Mutas just made suddenly and sent across the map. See if Tyson is going to be ready for it. It feels like he's going to be ready. He's already got this cannon, which is good. He will need more cannons, though. You generally need at least 1 in each mineral line. And this doesn't count as a mineral line cannon. I'm talking, he needs another one over here. Like 1 cannon alone. Like, you right-click your Mutas on it, and the Scourge chase these around. And Mutas don't have that hard a time with a cannon. So some Mutas being made. He sees this DT. Looks like the DT do get a couple kills and force a drone pull, but not that much damage, obviously. The most important thing is that he sees that it is, in fact, Mutalisks. So he's continually making these Corsairs. He's got 6 already. Oh, God. DT sneaking around the other side. 6 kills. Dude, Tyson's getting really far ahead. This does not look good for Kid right now. High Templars on the way. 7th Corsair going to pop. Does he stop at 7? Maybe thinks 7 is enough. He could make an Archon. He's not going Storm, so I think that's probably the play. Yep. There's the dance. The fusion dance. All right. So now we have an Archon here as well for Tyson. I really think Tyson's going to win this. Like, I haven't seen Kid do anything that makes me think he's going to be able to take this game. The closest was maybe when he was running up with the Zerglings and there was no reaction by Tyson, but then he stopped to kill the Scout Probe, which is not a wrong choice, right? Like, you would expect your opponent to already pull the probes the instant they see the Zerglings, but maybe Tyson just missed that for a moment. So more Mutas being made. He's waiting for that +1 Carapace, so a reasonable idea. Zealot Archon coming across the map. No Archon at home to help. So yeah, this gives the opportunity. Okay? We have an opportunity here. Multiple sunken, so this attack won't actually do anything. But with no Archon at home to help and only this one cannon in the main, there is a chance here Kid can go across the map and win this game. Right? 9 Corsairs is pretty scary, so I'm not counting on it. I still think Tyson's going to win, but who knows? Let's see. All right, he leaves some Scourge out behind. This is actually really important to not bring all of them. Okay. Brings all of them up. Kind of spreads them to different sides. Okay, flies in. Doesn't get hardly anything. He gets like 1 hit. Okay, comes in with the rest. And he does have that carapace. More Scourge coming up. Okay, hold on. Down to 5. Is he going to be able to do anything? No. He kills every single Muta. 3 left over. And the counterattack over here to that bottom left. Only a single sunken colony here. He is making a couple more. If those were ready already, he could hold this, but they aren't. So this is going to be a lot of damage. A lot of drones going to end up falling here. Ling's coming in to try to help clean up, but these are poorly suited to face +1 Zealots and an Archon. Does pick off the Archon, so that's nice. More Mutas on the way. Unfortunately for him, Corsair's already coming down. This is a huge amount of damage dealt by Tyson. And, Kid... At least, you know, he's going for it again. Okay, he's saying, you know what, screw it, my third base is gone. We're going for another counterattack. If you can kill the main base, this becomes much more reasonable. Right? Like, maybe you can win if you kill the main because of all the tech that's up there. Pulls back 1 very hurt Muta. The others will just dive in on these probes. Needs these Scourge to actually catch the Corsairs. Right? How many Corsairs are coming back? Oh, he actually doesn't bring them. 5 sitting in the bottom left. Huh. Just making some Dragoons. So, kind of... Oh! Waiting for the Psystorm. Deals a lot of damage. So now I was going to say, like, he's making Dragoons, but Dragoons don't fare well against Mutas. But with that Storm on and just 4 left over, he should be able to clear this. Throws another Storm. Gets him even lower for the Dragoons that are going to be popping out. Yeah. Another base coming up. A little counterattack here from Tyson into the bottom right against Kid. The Dragoons are going to be able to push these out. They don't have range yet. Can they fit through there? I actually don't even know. But yeah, that's very painful. GG is called, and that means that Tyson will be advancing in first place. All right, so yeah, Tyson advances in first place. Not a huge surprise, as I said. I do feel like Tyson and HyuN are probably a level above, even though HyuN is in that loser's match right now, which we are about to start. The loser of this will be eliminated from Group F here today in the round of 32. In the top right, it's HyuN, and in the bottom right, we have Cop. Okay, we're on Troy. Anything can happen here. Anything can happen on Troy. I think you 9-pull. Or I could see... Okay, so here's the thing. I am certain that you should go 2-gate Zealot every game here against every race if you're playing Protoss, okay? It's really clear. I've literally never seen it lose. I'm not joking. And the pros do it like 1%. Like, Bisu's the only one smart enough to do it every game. I don't know, man. But... in this matchup, it's a little bit tricky. It's like, well, I mean, if you do some sort of 8 racks type play, if you kill the Hatcher, you win anyways. You don't have to kill the Geysers. So the odds of killing the Geysers as Terran, very, very, very low in this matchup. The odds as Zerg. Well, here's the thing. You could go like a 9-pool or something. And in fact, it's going to be overpool here. So a pool first, but pool first should not be able to kill the Geysers, I don't think, like an overpool. I think you will be able to push that back. You see a little wall. He'll probably go barracks right here. And then there's just one hole that you have to defend. Oh, no, that's actually... that. Maybe there's a hole here. I'm actually... yeah, I'm fairly certain that's a hole. I'm not sure what this... what the meaning of this is. He's going to gas, though. Yeah, that's the one thing you can tell for certain. If you're walling like this, you're gassing or you're really trying to pull a weird trick. Anyways, beyond that, oh, is he unable to go out? Is there, like, something here that I can't see? It might be. It might be. Troy is such a weird map, guys. Like, it looks like an SCV doesn't fit through there. But this looks like it's 1 hex down, so I think still... that looks to me like there's a gap, but I guess we'll find out. Anyways, where was I? Okay, what I was going to say is if you just play like a normal 2-hatch Muta game, 2-hatch Muta can probably kill the geysers, right? Like you have to have turrets like here. I guess you have to put them here. And then you have to put them near your barracks. So maybe your barracks should be here and you have to build them there. But then you'd have to build turrets here and here as well. So it's like, there's too many areas to cover with turrets. So like maybe you can't kill the geyser, but maybe somewhere else can be harassed. So anyways, I think normal 2-hatch play is good. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me and these are at the same level. Am I crazy? Doesn't this look like it's down from there? Well, you know what? The thing is, you don't generally see a building right next to a similar Terran building. And the reason why these work is the graphics of the assimilator are smaller than normal. That's why it's always assimilators in these positions. Like on these types of things. Also, they have more health. So you want it to not be easy to kill. Why do assimilators have more health than refineries? Nobody knows. But yeah, that might actually be it. Graphically, they're just a smaller building than they should be for their size, which is, again, why you can walk out through them. Dude, the game is old. Okay, anyways, we have a proxy factory here. I need to talk about the actual game rather than Troy. Hydralis Den coming up as well as a layer. I love this counter. This looks pretty good for HyuN right now. Double starport follow-up. So we're going to see what type of Wraith micro COP has. So, like, the Vulture doesn't necessarily have to do anything, and in fact, it's not going to do anything. It'll sit here and just, I guess, monitor if Lings are coming out. Or in this case, Hydras. Now, the one thing I guess we can point out is if he gets a decent group of Hydras out and attacks, like, you're just going to kill the assimilators, like, instantly. So this is like a must-win on one base type of scenario. Well, not 100%. Like, sometimes you see a build like this go into a bigger macro game. But, like, exactly the right amount of damage has to occur for that to happen. Notice he did trap an SCV behind the mineral patches. I'm excited to see what COP can do with this. Because I know that the people who like to watch ArtosisCasts a lot, it seems like one of the most beloved players is Bishop. Okay, he's killing one off, and I'll talk about that in a second. But he'll only kill one. Now, but yeah, people really love Bishop. He's got some of the best Wraith micro in the world. I feel like his Wraith micro might be better than Lada's at this point, which is kind of crazy. And the Wraith are going to find this immediately, so that's kind of nice. Okay, so just to mention about this, Hydralisks fit out through here. The only units he will not be able to put out are like Ultralisk Lurkers, and actually I think Defilers would be stuck as well. I think Defilers are actually bigger than Hydralisks. Although I've never seen that scenario. But it makes sense. And why would he do that? It's because if there's speed vultures, they could run in, right? But if you kill that, they can't. They'll just run into a wall and they have to stay near the sunken and they die. So anyways, COP comes up here with his Wraiths. Ooh. He doesn't even get the drone. The drone had one hit left on it and he loses a Wraith and he loses 80 health off of the other Wraith. So very bad situation. That being said, he has a bunker now at his natural. I feel like that should be down one more hex, like right there, to really make it gross to attack up. But there's plenty of room for the Hydras to get high ground and thus not miss shots. We'll see how that goes. You're not going to attack this right now, anyways. You'll see this and just turn around. You don't want to run into that. He brings SCVs just in case, but there's not that many Hydras really. You need quite a few Hydras to break through a bunker that's being repaired by SCVs. Okay, another hatchery on the way. He's getting range, so now he has Hydralisk range. He has that Overlord speed. Not that many Wraiths. Like, definitely not that gigantic level of micro on the Wraiths so far here. Goes Cloak, he loses another one. Just adding a little bit of damage, but the Marines in the bunker are basically killing everything. So he's still completely safe. The Wraiths really not doing anything here for COP. Unfortunate. Like, I gotta tell you, like, you have to be pretty brave to go for the Wraith opener, I think, against Zerg, because if you don't have excellent micro, it looks terrible. Like, I don't know how to micro Wraiths. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. When I go 2-port Wraith, it looks bad. Like, it is really hard to get the amount of damage you need, even if you're using them otherwise tactically soundly. Like, you need to have that amazing hit and run micro. And if you cannot do that to a really high level, the Wraiths just kind of fall apart and you have to transition real quick. And see what he's doing, right? Like, he's not even making that many Wraiths. He's like, okay, we have a bunker, we're repairing. We have an add-on, we're going tanks. This is what happens when you don't have that Bishop or Leda level Wraith micro. And, you know, there's several pros that have really good Wraith micro. I'm not actually 100% sure it's the best. I feel like it might be Bishop, but, like, Light is very good. JYJ is very good. Royal's very good. Late is very good. Anyways, the Wraith's going to come up, and you can see he has some of the micro, some of it. Has 5 now. 5, if you get them all to shoot at the same time, will one-shot a drone, and you can see that here. Hey, this is pretty good. Gets rid of that. Oh, my God. He kills the Overlord. He's starting to get some real damage now. Okay, this is what we were waiting for. It's kind of funny because he sits there and he thinks he's going to get damage quicker by not microing, which is generally true, but because Zerg units heal 1 instantly upon being hit, letting the Wraiths just like killing something, then right-clicking them on something else is the wrong way to do it. You actually want the slight delay so that they will all shoot at once to get the drone so you can get the kill. Kind of a funny, weird, very fringe situation just because of them doing exact lethal damage. Okay. The more Wraiths are being made, so he's reinforced his Wraith fleet a little bit. I think he just wants to make sure he has enough to one-shot drones. HyuN up here is making spores. So he has 2 spores, 1 at each base. He has Carapace on the way. Love the Carapace upgrade as opposed to anything else. Carapace is going to definitely be better than attack upgrades here for the Hydras. That wouldn't be correct in every situation, but generally against Terran, Carapace upgrades are superior. Generally against Protoss, attack upgrades are superior for Zerg. So the Wraith's going to just pick off this Overlord. That was kind of a sacrificial scout. I think he just wanted to confirm what was going on over here. I'm surprised he's still making Wraiths. So he has 7 Wraiths. 3rd base for Zerg going up. 2nd Evo. I think he'll start ranged attack there. Yeah, there it is. More Hydras popping out. Equal as far as worker count goes at the moment. Not bad. Not bad. We're seeing some of that micro that we want to see. Wow. This is serious damage. Holy crap. You know what is so weird about this? The defense is actually more than what you normally see from Zerg. But 2 things happen here. First off, you know, a lot of people suggest, why don't you get a Spore? It's, you know, it doesn't cost that much, even though it is kind of expensive. Why don't you get a Spore against Wraiths? As you can see, you can put the Spore down, but it's like it doesn't cover all the mineral patches. And the Wraiths just go in and take like 1 hit and get kills. But also, he brought these in so late, it wasn't continual harassment. So like, if it was continual harassment, he would have like Hydras here and in here, and he'd have Hydras like here and maybe here. Instead, he had them in more just like rally point areas because there just hasn't been anything happening. So it kind of surprised him, right? It's like a late Reaver drop against Terran. Sometimes you'll see a late Reaver drop that comes at like you can get a Reaver drop off at like 6 minutes and 30 seconds. But if it comes at like 9 minutes, you're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Because it's like so much later than usual, right? Like you're not like on your toes waiting for it. And I feel like that's part of what just happened there. And also good micro, of course. Couple lurkers here. I believe these are on hold position. They also spotted those Wraiths going out. Spore goes up here, so at least very unlikely to lose the hatch. Gonna get a little bit of damage, then rotate over. I wonder if he would try to kill this. Killing these doesn't matter that much in this matchup because of the Nidus. Like, we're on Hive Tech pretty soon here, and you can literally just Nidus through, and it's not honestly a very big deal. Island bases for Zerg are not bad. Still very good micro. Oh, I tell you, I feel like he wasn't delivering early on with the Wraiths, but now he really is. They're actually getting a ton of damage at this point. Picking off quite a few Hydras here and there. Stim on the way. More barracks being added. Science vessels and siege tanks. Cop is setting up for a very good push. A very good push. I don't know that he'll hit in time. He's going to have to go with Stim. Like, in fact, he needs to go, like, now. He has no medics, though. Normally what you want to do is pump your medics out early so they can bank a little bit more energy. So +1 has just started. Stim is halfway done, but look up here. Defiler mount is almost done. So what counters a tank push? It's consume on the Defiler. When consume finishes, like there's actually specific timings that you look for when Hive starts or when the, well, actually, realistically in this matchup, you look for when the Queen's Nest is being made. If the Queen's Nest is not started by the time you finish your factory, then you can do a tank push, and if otherwise, it's like they'll have consume before you break the Zerg, almost always, right? If they nail their build. So that's a problem here, and also you're going to be shooting uphill. Now he has a ton of tanks, so if there's any delay in this consume, maybe he can kill him. He loses a lot of Wraiths there. Moving out now. Ooh, catches these hold position lurkers. They only kill a few Marines, so definitely going to be happy with that. Dude, he does have some potential. Consume, almost done, but where's the Defiler? Ooh, I actually missed that. Sorry, there was more hold position lurkers, and they actually did get some. Oh, never mind. There's the Defilers. And I guess the Defilers can walk through here. My bad. All right, moving forward quickly. It's just about consume finishing. Just back up a little bit. More lurkers on the way. Gonna eat some drones, it looks like. Waiting for the Zerglings? Just eat anything, it doesn't matter. Okay, he eats the egg, throws that down, invincible. So the siege tank push not working. He can actually rotate over and maybe get the gas, but if you wait too long, then your opponent is just going to go ahead and throw down a Darkstorm over here as well. So kind of unfortunate. I'm not sure why Cop is maintaining the push, because if the first Darkstorm is down, a second one is coming that's going to kill your tanks. So you've got to kind of unsiege and move back when you have a Darkstorm that close. Unless you know that you killed all the Defilers. So see, he loses a few tanks. Gets pushed back a little bit here. HyuN. Yeah, gonna push him back. And this is a fine move. Like, sieging a little bit out of position so you get like a few unit kills as he moves forward. Pretty solid play. Gonna load up with double dropship, it looks like. Decent macro here. Decent upgrades coming for sure. Right, he's got 2-1 upgrades on the way. Plague is coming for HyuN, though. You know, a Hydra Lurker Defiler style going to be very strong on this map. And here he comes. Going to throw down a Darkstorm, no doubt. You got to unsiege some of these immediately. He actually targets down a lot of the high-value units. So he loses a tank there. And in fact, he will lose another on the high ground, which was a good position. But he kills the Defiler. He gets a bunch of damage down on quite a few of these. Yeah, it just keeps those just out of range. Of course, he can't attack up here. It's uphill into lurkers. 1-2 upgrades against just 1-0 at the moment. And here is that drop getting off into the main base. Trying to go after some of these drones. Looks like it gets cleaned up pretty well. So, looks like, yeah, there was a few drones killed. 2-3 drones killed there for sure. But mostly just the bio dying off. So, didn't do quite what he was looking for, unfortunately. All right, more science vessels coming out with those additional siege tanks. It is good to go siege tanks against this, by the way. Like, you do want a good amount of siege tanks because this is... You got to try to make this hard to attack with. Because if they just, like, beeline it across the map, it's such a healthy comp. Like, it's got a lot of health in it. It's very hard to really kite this effectively. So... You know, it's good to have like a line of siege tanks where you really punish them for coming in. He does have some fire bats mixed in. I have liked the really heavy fire bat meta that's been kind of developing in this matchup, but he's only got 4 there, so he can't really dive. If he had like 8, he actually could have killed all that, right? So maybe a few more fire bats could be a key to victory. Unfortunately, his tanks get caught again. Twice now, HyuN has instantly jumped up here and killed the tanks on the high ground. Excuse me. But yeah, that's definitely something to note that HyuN is very, very cognizant of that, because this is a great location for siege tanks. Like, setting them up here and kind of punishing Zerg as they come down is awesome. But hasn't really been able to punish fully with that. Now, Cop moving backwards. Defiler energy almost ready. Throws a good quality plague down. Gonna go ahead and turn around there. Looking back at Cop space. Dropships on the way. So, yeah, the dropship play, I can't really blame him for. He's looking to, you know, be able to come over here and maybe get some critical damage. If you just keep making science vessels, like, constant science vessel production against this style is hard because they're throwing plagues down consistently, and as soon as you have a plague vessel, the Hydras kill it really fast. Also, don't forget, Hydras have very long range, so you can't really irradiate the lurkers and defilers as easily because the Hydras are on top of kind of like zoning out the vessels, and you're irradiating Hydras is actually bad for the most part. Like, if you're trying to chase down Zerg and you irradiate a Hydra, what they do is they turn it into an egg that takes no damage, but your Marines can't run by it because of the AoE. Like, if you stim and run by it, your Marines will literally start dying as they run by it, so it becomes an issue. Oh, God, he loses one of his dropships immediately. That's 10 supply down the drain there. Moves forward, though, with his science vessels, going to get a couple of irradiates onto Defilers, so very high-quality irradiates. I believe he did irradiate the Defiler that was over here as well. Sets up a lurker in that little choke. That's kind of cute. Pushing back this Hydra lurker at the moment. Okay, I'm just trying to like get a feel for what the goals are right now, because HyuN has been sitting 3 base for a long time, so I feel like he's just going to try to do a killing blow push. And then 2 bases for quite some time, right? We're at like 19 minutes, and okay, well, I guess we have the 3rd command center landed, but he's got to transfer SCVs. We see the dropship ready to do that. You know, if you can identify your opponents on 3 base here, you can just set up like huge arcs. Now, his medics got way ahead of everything there. Gonna bring the bio up, and he actually has nothing guarding his tanks. So if he just runs forward here, HyuN is going to be able to break through these siege tanks. Gets down the Dark Swarm, but that's kind of funny because it protects the tanks from... Oh, no, this is just out of Dark Storm range. Never mind. So that'll go down pretty quickly. Plague goes down. Only catches 1 vessel there. Has to sit very defensively. Has his bio in between, so it's going to be hard to reinforce. I tell you, HyuN, I feel like HyuN did a lot of things really well this game. And looking at the current position, it's like he just never did take a 4th. So he's kind of getting to his last legs. Cop might actually be able to kill him here. Well, he lets the reinforcement down. I think this is the only... Like, I'm kind of shocked because you have to just make sure this push doesn't kill you. But he moved his army from here where it was blocking it over to there. So definitely a misplay. HyuN immediately jumps upon that. And suddenly I have to take this from... Cop possibly winning to, I definitely think he's in trouble. Like, look at this. We got Defilers throwing down the Dark Storms. We have a lot of Lurkers coming in right now. Ooh, a good Irradiate right there. He's hitting some Irradiates. He does have Siege Tanks. You know, he's slowing it down a little bit. Can he hold it completely? This Bioforce coming over to clear all of these reinforcing units, which is big. Can he actually get the assimilators? Is it worth targeting those right now? This Bioforce catches everything that's coming up, which is a big, big moment. A wild game right now. Kind of an all-in move, but as these Hydras get in on top of the barracks, I believe HyuN has done it. It certainly looks as if HyuN has done it. I think he's going to be going on to that final match of the group. Little rematch there against Kid. GG. So Cop is eliminated. Our final match here in Group F will be a Zerg vs. Zerg. Once again, HyuN versus Kid. You know, Cop, I think he actually played the TVP beautifully. He had moments of awesomeness during that TVZ, but I think he lost track of what he needed to have done there at the end. That could have been a win. It turned really quickly at the end. But anyways, he is out. Let's get into this Zerg vs. Zerg. And see who is gonna advance here. Zerg player going to that round of 16. It up at 12 o'clock on Apocalypse. We have HyuN and his opponent in the bottom left. It is Kid from China. All right, obviously Kid won the first game of the day here against HyuN. You know, he had that pretty aggressive 9 pool. HyuN actually had a pool into hatchery and still was not able to hold on. Good aggressive play from Kid. HyuN maybe not reading the situation correctly. Maybe he'll take that into account and go for an earlier spawning pool here. It makes sense to me that he tried to play like that, though. Actually, I'm thinking about especially the way that he played in StarCraft 2. For those of you who don't know, HyuN was at one point maybe the second best StarCraft 2 player. Well, not exactly that. Okay, that's not fair. So basically, there was two sets of Korean players. The Korean players that traveled the world playing weekend tournaments, and the group of players that played GSL. Now, the GSL players were stronger, but the players that traveled the world were very, very strong as well. Otherwise, you would just have the teams swap out for the Korean-based GSL players and, you know, that type of thing, right? We start to win all the tournaments. But HyuN got to the top of just about every tournament. He did exceedingly well. Tons of really deep tournament finishes. So, like, he was very strong. And the type of approach he took to StarCraft 2 Zerg vs. Zerg kind of reminds me of how he's been playing here, where it's not super aggressive. It's kind of mid-ranged. But hopefully that'll end up working out for him. He's actually getting the quicker spawning pool here, whereas we have the hatch first from Kid. So what we see is HyuN once... actually, no. Sorry. In the previous game, HyuN had a slight build order advantage. Here, Kid has a slight build order advantage. And again, that does not mean that you're just going to have that victory, but, you know, you do have, like, look, it's a slightly quicker hatchery, and notice how he has one more drone. Dude, that's 10% more drones, okay? That's pretty significant. It really is. It really is. But yeah, especially these low numbers. Just always better to get something slightly later than your opponent. You know, I remember way back, right? Because it was basically the common knowledge was you want to get your spawning pool one drone later than your opponent is the idea, because then you'll never die and you'll have one more drone. Okay? Now, based off of that, I remember playing games in the old days where you know, some of these old maps like Lost Temple, you'd scout each other right away with the Overlord. And you just literally, no one would make a spawning pool, and you'd go up to like 30 drones and expand and stuff. It was so stupid. Obviously, the game never turned out to be like that in practice, but it was the idea. Anyways, right now you can see Kid makes enough Zerglings to push HyuN back. They both have Zerglings to be on the way. HyuN's is going to finish first. Kid is actually making masslings. I think that this is a beautifully smart idea from Kid. They're both going layer at a very similar time. And he actually catches a couple of lings there, right? Deals some damage. And in fact, catches them as they go in. Dude, I like this position for Kid. Kid is going to have more larvae overall because of the quicker hatchery. He is, you know, his speed is slightly slower. And HyuN is actually getting 2 drones. That's insane. Very good micro. And HyuN does have a sunken up. So that is something. But it looks like Kid wants to run by. Not a very good engage there for a moment. More and more lings coming up. Everything runs into the main base to defend. He might go for the sunken now since nothing's up there. Yeah, because he's going like pretty all in with these lings. HyuN, though, just now starting to go for his own lings. We actually had a Zergling that was kind of glitching there. Oh, God, and he targeted the pool for a moment. Lost some extra ones. So now looking at it, this is very, very tough for Kid. There's still a sunken. HyuN has made a lot of lings. He's blocked everything, and he's up 5 drones. Kid has to win right away. HyuN somehow still has these in the base. They have 3 kills total. They're still going after the drones. Trying to get them, but there's like almost no mining going on for Kid now at this point. More lings coming up. It's not enough. HyuN just has enough. I think HyuN's won this game. His little ling counterattack out-microed what Kid did, and I think Kid made some errors, you know, when HyuN was microing. Like, the attack sunken wasn't bad till the lings popped out. He ran up here, he attacked the spawning pool, took extra hits. You know, I like the idea of drawing everything into the main base, then attacking the sunken, but it was not executed as well as it could have been from Kid. And now I'm looking at a situation in which I think HyuN wins, like, basically every time. He has this sunken that has still enough health. He has his second one on the way because he knows how all in his opponent is. The Spire is going to finish relatively soon here, and of course no Spire even started for Kid, so I was gonna wonder if he was trying to go up for a sunken or something, but yeah, no room for that. The edge of the creep would stop him. Tons of lings for HyuN. So look at these supplies overall. One more drone, but also 2 more supply. So that means not only does he have 1 more drone, but he has 1 more set of Zerglings. And he has 2 Sunkens. Completely unwinnable, I would say. This is still alive somehow with 3 kills now. Oh my god. Yeah, this is completely unwinnable for Kid. Kid is going to get eliminated here momentarily. Maybe it takes the mutas flying over for him to see. He brought his Lings home. He hasn't started the Evo, so I think he's not even on top of where HyuN is at in this game. So, you know, I'm glad HyuN got to replay Kid, because as we can see, like, Kid, you know, he can pick up a win. He can look dangerous, but not the same level as HyuN. Absolutely not. ZVZ, definitely a volatile matchup, so he did go 1-1, but as the mutas fly in, the only thing left for him to do is to run his Zerglings into this sunken wall, and that should be GG. And, yeah, here they go. GG is called. No big surprise there. And that ends our group. It's going to be HyuN and Tyson advancing as predicted. Kid and Cop both fall. I do have to say, I was pleasantly surprised by Cop's Terran versus Protoss. I thought he played really, really well with it, and I'm kind of reinvigorated on Cop. Maybe, you know, it seems to me that he's made a lot of progress since the last time I was watching him play. But yeah, you know, obviously he got out in last place, so not as much as he would have liked. Okay, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this Group F in the round of 32 of CNSL, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.